Tonight, a newly seated Oneida County jury has a lot to process, having heard opening statements from 4 lawyers in the Marcy Prison Trial.
It's one of the few chances the whole community gets to see into the courtroom through a camera allowed by the judge. News Channel 9's Andrew Donovan joining us now. He was in the courtroom as both sides laid out their arguments. He joins us from Utica. Andrew, what did you hear?
Well, Christy, a lot of emotion from the Onondaga County District Attorney, who is serving as the special prosecutor on this case in Oneida County. And people who are in courtrooms every day hear these kinds of arguments every day, but it's rare for cameras to be allowed at any part of a murder trial, at least this day and age. This judge, knowing it's a high-profile trial affecting so many people, allowing us access to show you exactly what happened. And the jury heard it for themselves. 4 opening statements, the prosecution's and 1 from each defense attorney, each individually defending their own client. Their arguments lay out what the rest of the trial will detail, a theory that each of these officers had different roles in the death of inmate Robert Brooks, against the defense's theory that these 3 officers on trial didn't know what other violence their coworkers were committing. We're going to play a portion of each of these arguments, so bear with us. First, a rare chance to see Bill Fitzpatrick, one of the nation's best trial lawyers, in action.
You'll see a tape of Robert from that evening, and he's looking into a camera that he doesn't know was on and none of these defendants knew was on, and he's pleading for his life. He's begging, someone tell me what I did wrong. Why is this happening to me?
This trial will not be about whether the video is easy to watch. It won't be. It will not be about whether the officers handled everything perfectly. They didn't. It will be about whether the prosecution proves beyond a reasonable doubt that Officer Kingsley acted with depraved indifference to human life.
There's going to be a question, and we're certainly going to have questions for the medical examiner, whether or not this minimum application of pepper spray even had an effect on Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks was then handcuffed, not by Mr. Kiefer, he was then handcuffed, and then he was escorted to the infirmary. Nicholas Kiefer did not touch Mr. Brooks for the remainder of this night.
There's 3 things that are alleged to be the actions of Mr. Gallagher that results in a murder charge, a manslaughter charge, and a gang assault charge. The first is putting shackles on. Murder, that's what they say. The second is moving Mr. Brooks up onto the gurney. Murder. They say that's a murder, an accomplice to murder. And the third is not getting medical care when the nurses, when medical care came, when medical care was there, didn't do anything. They didn't think the situation required them to do anything. Yet they're charging Matthew Gallagher with murder.
Testimony and evidence will be used over the next several days for each of those attorneys to prove their cases. There was time to sneak in the first witness, a Department of Corrections investigator, who was the one that recovered all of that video evidence from the uniform-worn cameras that the officers didn't even turn on, but the cloud, the internet, was rolling on their actions anyway. Christy.
Andrew, thank you. And News Channel 9 will be in the courtroom for each day of the trial. And as everything unfolds, you can stay updated on air or online at localsyr.com.